Hello everyone, and welcome to my next video for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, where I'm going to be taking on the Act 2, Chapter 7, Part 35 Chaos Quest. I mean, it's Chaos and all, but name only. It's level 180, and it gives you nuggets. And the One-Winged Angel. And for this one, I'm bringing along a team of Zack, Rosa, and Ignis, with an Emperor friend support and Bahamut as a summon. So yeah, Zack has finally got his EX+. I definitely wasn't waiting on that one for a fair while. Yeah, I've been really excited for Zack, to be honest, because I've been playing around with him. You know, I've taken a while to actually slog through the story chapter to be able to get to a point where I can actually record this video, but I've played a few videos with Zack off Synergy, and all I can say is that the man is absolutely busted. I mean, like, busted. He is amazing. He's really good. Fucking, oh my god. Zack is a beast. I mean, like, I recorded that video before where I had like Rosa and Bart's, and then Zack had his base EX in Rosa's Lost chapter, and we still completed it without a problem. Now that Zack has his EX+, his damage is just absolutely through the roof. It's amazing. Like, I cannot say enough good things about Zack. It's very easy to see why he's going to be one of the strongest characters in Chaos for and why he outlasts just about everyone for a good amount of time, because his 3 out of 3 gives him 30% extra overflow on all of his attacks, just like Sephiroth. He gets incredible stat boosts, just like Sephiroth, except he gets even more, even bigger stats. His potencies were already through the roof as long as he's being targeted. So you combine that with like a huge helping of EX+ stats, and you're just absolutely golden. He does as much damage or more damage than average than like any other DPS character, but he provides the party 40% dual aura. He gets last stand passive so he can't die. He's got HP regen like already in his kit. He gets a heal on his EX ability. His Apocalypse turns into a dual cast that, with aforementioned overflow and the proper supports, such as Rosa and Ignis, for example, you'll actually be able to do more damage to enemies than you can actually do with 100% AoE EX, because it casts twice. And if both of those hits overflow, you can get like 60k and then 60k again. That's like 240k damage, all in all. And that's from a tank. That's like, you've got tank doing DPS levels of damage. And then if I was to sort of, say, remove Ignis from this lineup and replace him with someone like Ultimisia, for example, you're just like, oh my god, it's absolutely insane. In fact, I've recorded a video before this one, but I'll probably be uploading it afterwards, but I've recorded one of taking on the 8 character event with Zack, Rosa and King. And I managed to beat it in like 51 turns or something stupid. I got a max score without a launcher, and I even made a bunch of fuck-ups on King's free turns. Like, there was a few times where I used his CS65, but I sort of screwed him out of his EX frame buff, so he didn't get the free turns when he broke the enemy. Even so, we still just absolutely annihilated it. It's quite fun, actually. So yeah, Zack is just absolutely bonkers. Like, Warrior of Light is still very good, and in situations where you need to shield the whole party, he might be preferable. But Zack just does so much damage that it's very hard to justify bringing Wall over Zack at this point, unless you specifically need the whole party shield, because in all other cases I'm going to say that Zack is just going to be a go-to guy. Rosa, Zack, and then insert third here is going to get you through so many Chaos quests if you decide to run that team. The only thing that I imagine would actually stop them in their tracks would be damage type resistances, because Zack does actually have both of his skills in melee, but his EX is magic damage, and he does need to be able to hit that EX to actually, that's a huge amount of burst damage, so you definitely don't want that to be resisted. And then we've got Rosa, who has a ranged EX, but she has magic on her skills, for example. So those two together, they run all 3 damage types. So if you run into any damage type resistance, that's kind of going to put a damper on things. But that's part of the reason that I plan to pull for Lulu when her Lost chapter comes out, because you throw an Imperil into the mix and you suddenly don't have to worry about that anymore. And even though Lulu's kit isn't like super amazing or anything, it's still an Imperil, and that's still very useful with the weakness changes that have come about recently. So I do have Ignis in my lineup, and he does have his EX+, but it's actually 0 out of 3. I've just booked him for now because I want to get the ingot for it, and as you see, his armor's also unrealized because we've got Aranea coming up in just a few days now. I'm getting a little bit excited, I don't know about anyone else. but I can't spare the buck for him right now, even though his realization does give him max brave and attack, so that's really good, especially for the max brave on Ignis. But I've just sort of kept him as as he is right now. He can still perform relatively well with minimal investment, which is one of the things I like about Ignis, and it's one of the reasons that I actually pulled for him. Because I've still not played Final Fantasy 15, but from what I've seen of the game, I do actually quite like his character. But I did say to myself that I was going to be only throwing tickets at the Ignis banner. Unfortunately, what I did not foresee is that I would be throwing over 450 of the damn things before I finally got his EX. Yeah, when I start pulling, I just carry on pulling, man. That's why I either skip or I go all in, because I didn't intend to throw that many, but my finger slipped, and before you know it, I just kept going and going, and then I'd finally got his EX, and I was like, oh god, thank god for that. So I've not really played around with Ignis that much. I've only recently just got finished taking him up to level 70, but he has a very stacked kit in terms of utility, because he has 100% debuff evasion on his memory lane pastry stance. He's got 40% attack and additional overflow, 20% overflow on his Papa Bird and Baby Ball stance. So I think the only supports we have right now that give a consistent boost to party-wide overflow is Rosa from her EX buff, Ignis from his PB, his Papa Bird skill, and Bart's on his EX. And that's the only three supports we have at the moment that give bonus overflow. But all I'm going to say is you stack Rosa, Ignis and Zack together, and Zack uses his CS65, you're going to get up to something like 90% overflow on Zack. It's stupid. Like, the guy is not going to leak bravery at all, regardless of what his max brave is. So yeah, I technically, if I was to use someone like Ultimisi here, I'd probably get a higher score than he's in Ignis, but I wanted to take the time to use Ignis because, I don't know, I kind of like Iggy. I'm really thinking about playing through Final Fantasy 15 pretty soon. Like, I've heard that it's got its flaws as a game, but it's still a pretty good experience, and from what I've seen, that does seem to be the case. So I think I slept on 15 a bit. I might have been a little bit unfair to it in the past, so I'm going to go back and give it a chance. So my Zack is a beneficiary of the Sarah artifact farming shenanigans. So because Zack and Vayne were on the same event with Sarah, I think it was Vayne's initial EX release, I got perfect artifacts for everyone because Sarah took forever. And I've also taken the opportunity to deck out my Zack with spheres. I've actually given him Cloud Sephiroth and his own sphere, because I'm going to say 50% because those are actually pretty good choices, and 50% because it just felt right to do. You know what I mean? It felt appropriate. Like, I could have given him I could have maxed out Machina and given him like Machina Sphere for the initial bravery, or I could have given him like Tifa Sphere or something. But I decided to go with these. Cloud Sphere is actually pretty good on Zack for his rush assault. For when the enemy's invisible defense buffs start kicking up, it helps you do that much more damage. And yeah, I've unequipped his like initiative skills because Zack's already fast enough, and that means like every 2 skills you'll get an EX. And to be honest, sometimes you can just use a skill in the HP++ and you get an EX. It's a very fast charging EX. So Zack doesn't get any free skills, but he doesn't really need them because he just deals stonks damage with the skills he does use. And there we go. I've got the attack ones because I realised that after enemies' invisible buffs start kicking in, then I've not been really dealing that much damage. So yeah, that's why I've swapped to the attack ones for Rosa. Ignis's artifacts they're not bad. They could be improved, but after a modest amount of farming, this is what I've got. I do want to save most of my gold tokens for Aranea when she comes out, so I'll be dropping 9k on her and hopefully I get something good, and then it's back to farming. Oh god, can't wait for that. Yeah, so that's where we are right now. And Emperor Friend is just there for the second wave, because on the first wave we're going to need the debuff evasion, and on the second wave we should be able to let loose, in theory, a little bit more offensively. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into it. So I have to say that playing with Zack, it's kind of like the guy does everything Sephiroth does, only better, but with a lot more stuff on top of it. Like, Zack completely overshadows Sephiroth, and it makes me happy, but it also kind of makes me sad at the same time, if you know what I mean? Because like, I'm a big Sephiroth fanboy. I make no effort to hide that. But at the same time, especially after some of the things he got up to in this story chapter, it's like, oh god, that's just horrible. So it's kind of nice to see Zack get some payback. So I am going to go into memory lane pastry stance because that has the debuff resistance. It doesn't have a very strong attack aura, and it doesn't have the bonus overflow. And I'm just going to regroup just to get the max bravery up for everyone, and then we're going to carry on. But what it does have is an insane battery, so he can actually recover bravery. He can overflow on his bravery recovery, and then he gives it's like an Ishtola. It gives it back to everyone, so it's really good. So Zack's just going to go in right now with a actually, Zack's not going to go in right now because we don't have the overflow skills on either of these two. So if I use the skill here, it would be kind of wasteful with him being at max bravery, you know. So HP++ it is. Meanwhile, look at that. That's amazing. So that would just have put a load of debuffs on everyone, but that's what Ignis is for. Let's see. Yeah, I'll give it a rush assault. Oh, this thing's HP bar is just evaporating. Oh yeah, I'll take a remove miss. Why not? Oh, Burst Apocalypse. Absolutely ridiculous damage. Let's see. What am I going to do here? Yeah, I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray. And I'm actually going to go into overflow stance with Zack. So he shouldn't leak much here. 87. It gets worse than that. You can actually hit all 9s with that if you really want to. So I think I'm gonna cook myself up another recipe. What does his single target attacks do? Does he have any debuffs on his single target attacks? Magic brave attack removes buffs. Ugh. For the turn rate. Jam of Breath does all the debuffs. No, it looks like all his debuffs are on his all attacks, so I'm actually just going to go in now with this. Switch into the offensive stance for a bit. And then we can overwhelm him by switching to... Let's switch to Zack. Look at that, beautiful damage. Overflows very nicely. And let's just get the aura up on Rosa. And yeah, I'll absolutely take an Apocalypse. As we just evaporate this poor Shinryu's health bar. Okay, I don't want to take a debuff. No, thank you. Let's see how far this goes. Not, oh wow, it goes the whole way, even in the memory lane stance. That's pretty nasty. Didn't expect it to be that good. So Ignis does have some flaws, but in my opinion he has a pretty interesting kit. Like, he's kind of like, he has aspects of Lena, Ishtola, kind of rolled. He has aspects of Lena, Ishtola, and Charlotta kind of all rolled into one. With the overflow aura, you know, it's really quite nice. He does a lot. That's kind of the impression I get from him in FF15 as well. So I will not have the shield after this turn. So let's do as much damage as we can so we don't get broken. Although Zack's kind of over there, but he jumps up, so that's fine. Oh, and that's just rude. But that's why we've got Ignis. That would be kind of a waste, wouldn't it? To use his EX here? Yeah, I think it would. I'm not going to do that. And that would be a waste too. So let's just HP++ here. And get out of the wave. Meanwhile, Zack gets all those delicious soldier grit boosts. So, yeah, I don't think this thing debuffs. Until... oh, okay. So its recast ability inflicts stop and blind. Tail sweep. Okay, so it has a lot of debuffs on it. But at the same time, they're kind of not really that impactful compared to the previous waves, so I can probably afford to go into the Papa Bird's stance. And let us focus on the big guy, because he gives us the most problems. See, the problem with teams like this is they feel so powerful that bringing in a friend unit feels like you're going to gimp yourself. You know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to bring someone into a comp like this? It's almost perfect. So I think I'm actually going to keep out Zack here, because he just makes things so much easier with his tanking, and I am actually just going to go swap into Emperor here. You can maybe argue that I should have done that for Ignis before we went into the summon, which I mean it's probably true, but you know, too late for that now. Kind of want to bring out the Emperor friend early before the invisible buffs kick in, so he can get the most damage. And you'll see what I mean now with the overflow. So that's double 64k. That's pretty impressive, and that's without even putting Rosa's ability up. Sephiroth's no threat. Don't need to do that either. We just need to try and take down the big guy as soon as we can, preferably. Because it has the rather nasty tendency, like it's gonna use it's gonna screw everyone up with debuffs, and then it's gonna do this. Yeah, it's gonna recover HP, which is just not something anyone wants to deal with. So yeah, let's jump into the summon. I'd rather not deal with this right now. Because if we break A, that's going to knock Emperor forwards. But we can't avoid breaking A because Emperor's going to take a turn anyway. Although he might not necessarily have to, question mark, but then if we do, then we'll take a lot of debuffs anyway, so you know what. It can't be helped. Because we lose a lot of trap damage by Emperor not being on the field, so that's kind of unfortunate. But at the same time, yeah, I'm not about to deal with this massive debuff bullcrap over here. Okay, so yeah, let's cook us up another respirator. But you need the memory lane. Is there a way I can? No, I don't think I can. That's going to do a HP attack on everyone. Screw it. Let's just brave attack. Let's be inefficient. Unfortunately, we only get baby damage from Emperor's traps now. I'm going to switch it up and start wailing on Sephiroth for a little bit, because I kind of feel like we'll kill the big guy too easily. Kind of. Maybe not? Question mark? Nah. Let's not drag this out any longer than we have to. Oh, silly sausage, you thought you could do anything against Zack. That's cute. That's very cute. I know what we'll do. Let's cook us up a papa bowl, and we can do the overwhelm and switch into Zack. And yes, this goes very, very nicely. Oh dear, I think I went a little bit too ham there. I think I should have focused on Sephiroth. Never mind. You're dead. You're both dead. Well, one of you is. Now we've just got a bunch of turns to burn. That was kind of a little bit inefficient, but screw it. Blind attempts and all that. I'll probably go back to this and do a score run later, but for now, let's just savour the destruction of Sephiroth. I just realised I've not used Iggy's additional ability yet either. What do you think you're doing? What are you trying to pull? Oh, I've not got his Bloomstone either.
Yes.
Oh well. Rip. The only thing I don't like is that cooking up a dish takes a turn. Like, it doesn't take a turn to eat it, but it takes a turn to make it. Which, I mean, you know, genius cannot be rushed. But still, that's unfortunate. Yeah, we kind of need to change that. We kind of need to change Slash. Look at all that bravery, all that delicious bravery. Let's make sure we still have our overflow. Okay. So do I risk it and go for the regroup now to see if I can kill him? Or do I save it for, you know what, he's all the way over there, he's not going to get a turn. I'm just going to go for it. Ah, damn! I missed it. Oh no! What's the HP requirement? No! I'm missing it! How about now? Oh yeah, that'll do it. Oh well, GG. GG, no worries, Sephiroth. Goodbye. Okay, so that's going to be my my initial clear of this chapter with an extremely large amount of HP damage, but hey, we got the requirement, so that's all that matters. So I hope everyone enjoyed watching, and until the next time, take care and goodbye.